Hi guys, happy Monday. It's Sunday when I'm recording this. That's why I'm so smiley and excited. So I am on page 117, PDF page 117. It says 116 at the bottom right hand corner. And just like last lesson, we're gonna do 3 examples from that chart. It looks the same. Don't let it confuse you. It looks almost the same as last lessons. And then we're gonna do the first word problem on the next page, just like last lesson, and then your homework will look almost the same. So a chart like this, and then a word problem, okay? So don't get confused, don't do the same page. It's right now we're on 117 or 116 in red at the bottom. We're gonna do this chart really quickly. So it's last time we were dividing, and the first factor was a whole number, the second factor was a fraction. Now the first number is a fraction and the second number is the second factor is a whole number. So it says divide, then multiply to check, okay? Those are the directions. So A says 1/2 divided by 7. So 1/2 divided by 7. So I'm gonna go through our process and I'm gonna keep the first factor, so we have 1/2. So keep the first number, then I'm going to change the sign, and then I'm gonna flip the second factor. So Miss Sullivan, how do I flip 7? Well, we know that 7, a whole number 7, is really 7 over 1. So once I flip it, it's going to be 1/7. And then I just multiply across. So I know that 1 times 1 is 1. And 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, so 1/2 divided by 7 is 1/14. And now I check my answer by multiplying. So I take my first factor, I take my product, so 1/14. And I multiply it by our second factor. So what did we multiply it by? We multiplied it by 7, or 7 over 1. And then 1 times 7 is 7. And 14 times 1 is 14. And the magic comes when you simplify. I know it's a funky looking 7. So the magic comes when you simplify. 7 over 14, or 7/14, is really simplified to 1/2. So that is our first factor. So now we know, I'm not going to circle that because that might confuse us. That's not the answer. But now we know that we can check it and that's correct. So we divided correctly and we checked with our multiplication. Okay, so let's do the next one. It says 1/3 divided by 6. So I'm going to keep the first factor. I'm going to keep 1/3. And I'm going to change my sign, so into multiplication. And then I'm going to flip my second factor. So I have 6, or 6 over 1. So I'm going to change it to 1 over 6. And then again, we're just going to multiply across. So 1 times 1 is 1. And 3 times 6 is 18. So now to check, I'm going to take my answer, 1 over 18, and I'm going to multiply by 6 over 1. So 1 times 6, which I multiplied by our second factor. 1 times 6 is 6, and 18 times 1 is 18, and that simplifies. 6 goes into 18. 6 goes into 18 3 times. And I put the last time, let me fix this. I said 1 over 3 over here when I really meant, I said 1/2, oh my goodness. I said 1/2 over here, which I really meant 2, because 7 divided by, I was correct. I'm confusing myself and all of you. I'm sorry. We all make mistakes. So I was correct. So yes, 6 divided by, or 6 over 18, really does simplify into 1/3, and that is our first factor. So we multiplied, or we divided correctly. Okay? Sorry, I just got a little caught up here because it's super simple, but we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly. Okay? We all make mistakes, so that I will know if you were watching the whole video if you know that I made that mistake. Okay, instead of a riddle this time. All right, so the last one really quickly. I know you can't see me, but it's 1/4 divided by 5. Let's move this over. 1/4 divided by 5. So I'm going to keep 1/4. I'm going to change my sign. And then I'm going to flip the last number, which would be 5 over 1. And so I'm going to make it 1 over 5. And that equals, well, 1 times 1 is 1. And then 4 times 5 is 20. And now we're going to do our super check. And I'm not going to mess it up this time, I pinky promise. So I have 1/20 times 5 over 1 times our second factor. And that's going to equal 5/20, which I know that 5 over 20, or 5/20, simplifies into 1/4. And that was our first factor, so I can double check and know that we did it right. Okay? And that's it. Those will be, for your homework, you'll do the whole chart. And it should be super simple because we're doing the same process. We just have to flip that. Don't flip the first fraction. Still flip the second factor, and whether it's a whole number or a fraction, okay? And so the next video, we're going to do a quick word problem, and then you'll be all set for your homework.